So you want to retire in Italy. Before you picture yourself with a glass of wine on a Tuscan hillside, here's something that might surprise you. Italy doesn't offer one retirement tax deal. It offers two. And which one applies to you depends entirely on how much money you have. One version can tax a modest pension at just 7%. The other charges a flat 300,000 euros a year, whether you earn 1 million or 1 billion. Let's break down how both actually work. Let's start with the version most retirees actually qualify for. Since 2019, Italy has offered a flat 7% tax on all foreign source income. Pensions, dividends, rental income, capital gains, all of it, for retirees who move their tax residence to a qualifying small town in southern Italy. Compare that to Italy's standard progressive tax rates, which climb as high as 43%, and the savings are enormous. A retiree with 60,000 euros a year in foreign pension income pays roughly 4,200 euros under this regime. Under normal Italian taxation, that same income could easily cost more than 20,000 euros. The regime lasts 10 consecutive years, and as of April 2026, it just got meaningfully bigger. New legislation raised the population cap for qualifying towns from 20,000 to 30,000 residents, opening 74 additional municipalities across southern Italy, including well-known towns like Ostuni and Noto that had previously sat just outside the threshold. The qualifying regions are specific: Abruzzo, Molise, Campania, Basilicata, Calabria, Puglia, Sicily, and Sardinia, plus a handful of central Italian towns affected by past earthquakes. Rome, Milan, Florence, and Venice are explicitly excluded. This regime exists specifically to revitalize depopulating small towns, not to discount life in Italy's major cities. The regime is officially called the Regime Forfettario Agevolato per Pensionati Esteri, and it was designed with a clear economic goal: bring foreign spending power and long-term residents into parts of southern Italy that have been steadily losing population for decades. On top of the income tax savings, participants are also exempt from two Italian wealth taxes on foreign assets: IVAFE, which normally taxes foreign financial accounts at around 0.2% annually, and IVI, which taxes foreign real estate at around 0.76% annually. For a retiree with meaningful investments and a home back in their country of origin, those two exemptions alone can save well over 1,000 euros a year, on top of the headline tax savings. Now here's the other side of Italy's tax system, and this is the part almost nobody covers: the flat tax for high net worth individuals. Under Article 24 bis, wealthy new residents can pay a single fixed amount per year covering all their foreign income, no matter how large. When this regime launched in 2017, that flat fee was 100,000 euros. It rose to 200,000 euros in 2024. As of the 2026 budget law, new applicants now pay 300,000 euros a year, though anyone who locked in the regime before that change stays grandfathered at their original rate. Family members can be added for an additional 50,000 euros per person annually, double what it cost just 2 years ago. This regime lasts up to 15 years, isn't limited to retirees or to small towns, and applies to essentially any foreign income at any level. In practical terms, a retiree earning 2 million euros a year and a billionaire earning 200 million euros a year pay the exact same 300,000 euro bill. The more income you have, the more absurdly good this deal becomes. For retirees who don't qualify for either flat tax regime, maybe your income comes from work-adjacent sources, or you simply want to live in Rome or Florence, the standard route is Italy's Elective Residency Visa. As of 2026, this requires proof of at least 32,000 euros a year in passive income for a single applicant, or 38,000 euros for a couple. The visa strictly prohibits any kind of work, including remote work for a foreign employer. Some consulates reject applications outright if there's any hint of ongoing employment. You'll also need a registered lease of at least 1 year, or a property deed, before you can even apply. Hotels and short-term rentals don't count. Processing typically takes 2 to 4 weeks, and residency renews annually for the first year, then in 2-year increments, with permanent residency eligibility arriving at the 5-year mark. Cost of living varies enormously by region, and this is where Italy genuinely rewards research over assumption. Nationally, property runs around €1,866 per square meter, but that average hides a massive range. Milan regularly exceeds €5,000 per square meter, while parts of southern Italy sit under 1,500. A couple can live comfortably in Puglia, or inland Tuscany, on roughly €1,600 to €1,800 a month, covering rent, food, and a genuinely full Mediterranean lifestyle. The same budget in Lombardy or central Milan simply doesn't stretch nearly as far. Healthcare is one of Italy's strongest selling points. The World Health Organization has ranked Italy's healthcare system among the best in the world. After 1 year of legal residency, retirees can register with Italy's National Health Service for an annual contribution, typically between €1,000 and €2,000, scaled to income. Private international insurance for retirees over 65 runs roughly €1,800 to €3,500 a year as a supplement or alternative. For long-term care, Italy has a well-developed system of residential facilities running €1,800 to €3,500 a month, alongside a strong cultural tradition of live-in caregivers, called badanti, often available for €1,000 to €1,500 a month, including room and board, an option that barely exists in the same form in Greece, Hawaii, or Panama. Here's what almost nobody puts in the headlines. To qualify for either flat tax regime, you can't have been an Italian tax resident recently, 5 of the previous 10 years for the 7% retiree regime, 9 of the previous 10 years for the high net worth regime. Neither flat tax regime renews automatically after its term ends. Renewal is evaluated case by case, and the 7% regime's small town requirement is genuinely strict. Falling in love with a property in a town just over the population cap means falling back to Italy's full progressive tax rates, with no partial credit for almost qualifying. A couple of quick myths worth busting. Qualifying for the 7% regime doesn't require Italian citizenship or ancestry. It's open to any non-Italian tax resident, EU or non-EU, who meets the income and location requirements. And moving to a qualifying small town doesn't mean settling for a sleepy backwater with nothing to do. Many of the newly eligible towns under the 2026 population expansion, like Ostuni and Noto, are genuinely well-known, internationally recognized destinations in their own right, not obscure villages nobody's heard of. It's worth a brief comparison to Portugal, since it's the country most people mentally pair with Italy in this exact conversation. Portugal's old NHR program, which offered a flat 10% rate, closed to new applicants years ago, and its replacement incentives are narrower and less generous than what they replaced. Italy's 7% regime is not only lower, it's also newer and still actively expanding, as the 2026 population cap increase demonstrates. Where Portugal still wins is breadth. Its standard visa options don't require relocating to a small town the way Italy's best tax deal does. But for a retiree specifically chasing the lowest possible tax bill on a foreign pension, Italy's regime is arguably the strongest deal currently available anywhere in Western Europe. Now, what does serious wealth actually look like once someone's inside the high net worth regime? Lake Como and parts of Tuscany have become magnets for exactly this profile. Multi-million euro villas, historic wine estates, and a genuine culture of art and antiques collecting that Italy supports better than almost anywhere else in Europe. Milan's financial and fashion industry presence also gives wealthy residents a genuine business ecosystem to plug into, unlike a purely lifestyle-driven luxury market. Because the flat tax covers all foreign income regardless of size, wealthy residents often restructure significant investment portfolios specifically to maximize what falls under that flat €300,000 umbrella, rather than leaving income exposed to other countries' tax systems. And Italian wealth advisors who specialize in this regime report client portfolios ranging from tens of millions to well over €1 billion in net worth. This is a fundamentally different financial conversation than anything in our Greece, Hawaii, or Panama breakdowns. It's not about stretching a modest budget. It's about which country offers the best flat fee ceiling on an already enormous income. Let's run the real math. A retiree with €60,000 in foreign pension income, settling in a qualifying Puglia town under the 7% regime, pays about €4,200 in Italian tax and can live comfortably on roughly €1,700 a month, a genuinely remarkable combination of low tax and low cost of living. Now picture a wealthy individual earning €5 million a year in investment income, opting into the high net worth regime instead. Their €300,000 flat tax works out to an effective rate of just 6%, lower, proportionally, than what the modest Puglia retiree is paying. Same country, two completely different tax logics, and the wealthier resident often ends up with the better proportional deal. Compared to Greece's single flat 7% rate, or Panama's zero-tax territorial system, Italy is uniquely two-tiered, genuinely excellent for modest retirees willing to live in a small southern town, and genuinely exceptional for the ultra-wealthy, with the standard elective residency visa filling the gap for everyone in between who wants Rome, Florence, or Milan instead. No other country in this series offers anything close to this structure, where the exact same nation gives its best deal proportionally to both the smallest and the largest incomes, while everyone in the comfortable middle pays the most, relatively speaking, of anyone in the system. The honest takeaway is this: Italy rewards knowing exactly which category you fall into before you move, far more than any country we've covered so far. Guess wrong, or simply not know these regimes exist, and you could end up paying Italy's full 43% top marginal rate on income that qualified retirees a few towns over are taxing at 7%. That's not a small gap. It's the difference between Italy being one of the best tax deals in Europe and one of the worst.